call you the last dragon.
They do.
Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long nights. The long nights. I don't know why that always cuts off, but it does. Hi, everyone. We are here to talk about House of the Dragon. This is what y'all wanted to talk about this week. So this is what you're going to get. So we're going to be starting with just the things that we know so far. Everything we know. So far we know that House of the Dragon will be based on the Dance of Dragons from Targaryen history. And if you want to know more about that, if you don't know what that is, you can find out what that is by reading Fire and Blood by George R. R. Martin. Excuse me. Nim is not here. She's in the chat, though. She'll be back next week. I see Michael asking, where is Nim? And shout out to everybody in the chat. Little Wolf, Liana, Sheev, Palpatine. Palpatine.
Someone doesn't watch Star Wars?
No, absolutely not. If it's Mandalorian, does that count?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that counts.
Okay. So we will be talking about House of the Dragon. So far we've gotten like some filming stuff. So like we've gotten stuff from like people with their drones and shit taking pictures. So we've seen like some little kids that look like Draco Malfoy. We've gotten pictures released from filming, but we've also seen like a tomb. It looks like we've seen Driftmark. We're going to see Driftmark. So we got this picture. I'm going to put the picture on the screen. And this is actually who we're going to be talking about first, right here. Yes, we're going to be talking about Damon and Rhaenyra. So when I first seen the pictures, I was hyped. I really like that I feel like they got Rhaenyra right. When it comes to her clothes, like the quote about Rhaenyra, like Rhaenyra wore her hair in the braids, like the warrior queen Visenya, and she always gravitated towards gold mirrorish lace and maroon and purple velvets and stuff like that. So I was like, yes, they got Rhaenyra. And then for Damon as well. I'm really loving the way Damon's looking. So what were you guys' first thoughts seeing these?
I guess the petty part of me doesn't like her dress. Rhaenyra's dress. I do like the hair though, because it does. I know in the World of Ice and Fire book, the one picture that's depicted of her, not the one picture, but one of the few, she's got her hair down. And it's supposed to be when she's like 15, 16, so that's understandable. But I do appreciate seeing the braid, just like in book canon. Like I said, the dress isn't doing it for me, but I know that a lot of our costume-loving mutuals have already covered that quite a bit.
What did you like about the dress?
I don't.
Is it like old-fashioned?
It seems. I don't know.
It
I don't
seems
want to
kinda
be
plain.
super critical. It looks cheap. It looks
I would
cheap
say
a little bit.
it looks plain a little bit. I think
Yeah.
we're so used to the more ornate and intricate like embellishing and like embroidery on like Cersei and like Marjorie, Sansa. Like their costuming is very, very ornate, and it's kind of plain a little bit, but then it is supposed to be further back in time, so that kind of makes sense. Like Damon's clothes look similar to a lot of King's Landing style clothing, but just think of it like 100 years in the past. So it is going to change a little bit in like cuts and fabrics, like to get better quality later on. But it's not doing it for me either.
Well, one thing I can say that seems a bit true to book canon is the dress seems very non-binary in a way, and Rhaenyra is very much, I don't know how they're going to do. I mean, if it's a Dance of the Dragons, then they're going to do a whole secession crisis deal, but she's really trying to emit power the way that a man would. So it would make sense to me that if she's going to dress up, it's not necessarily going to be in the very dainty way that Marjorie Tyrell from the show would dress up, or even Cersei. And when Cersei came into power in the show, her dresses became more, unisex. So I don't know. I kind of appreciate that nod, but it looks like we're getting some super chats already.
Yeah, so we have a super chat. Thank you, Sandy, for the super chat. Just a little love. Thanks for everything. Thank you
Sandy.
so much. I hope they do the Regency. Unwin Peak is a jerk. Thank you, Count Valerian and House Siders. I think they're going to do that. We're going to talk about
He got too
that.
big for his britches.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, like what parts we think they're cutting out and what parts we think they might keep. And also another super chat from John Lang. What's up, John? Thank you for the super chat. Starting the Party City Fund for season 2. Plug the book club. Yes. So
are we talking about the wigs?
Yes.
Savage. Oh my God.
They're so savage. Party City. But so the Discord, my Discord, the Gray Area Discord server, they have a book club I believe it's Tuesdays and Fridays. I may be wrong. Tuesdays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. See, I get this wrong. Like, I don't even know my own schedule, let alone anything else.
Well,
but
Mandy's in the
chat. So Mandy will be linking the Discord in the chat. I know
she already did. She's on it. Mandy, we miss you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Miss you, babe.
Miss you, Mandy.
Better. So, the book club. Go check it out. It's free. It's a lot of fun. Mondays and Thursdays. See, I was almost right. So for me, I personally, like when I saw the Damon photos with Damon and Rhaenyra like somewhere else, and like it was like somebody else was taking the photo like from a drone or something. I was like, this fucking wig is shitty. Like, it was so thick up top.
I saw that one.
It was so thick up top. I was like, no.
Like he had the little bun bump from those infomercials.
Yes.
Back in
like Snooki from Jersey Shore.
Yes, Snooki.
Snooki. See, it did not look good. And also it looked
dark
too
eyes.
Shiny, like a Barbie doll hair. When Barbie dolls
cheap.
have yeah, and I was absolutely not feeling it. But then once they actually released their set photos, I'm like, okay, filters do everything, So, I mean, I'm more okay with the wig. I know some people are complaining because all the Targaryen men share the same wig, but I think this is how Targaryen men comb their hair and wear their hair like that. I don't know, but
why do they all do the half pony?
I don't know.
It's
It
like the
seems
thing.
regal.
Yeah, the Starks do it too.
Let it down. Let it
Actually, that's
down.
about it. A lot of them do that. Like the Starks do it, and then like Cersei and them have their own kind of like twisted and or braided version of that.
Mhm.
I'm a fan of the half up, half down myself, but
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
on
not bad.
him. Not
Oh
on
no.
him.
I personally feel like the best male Targaryen wig I've seen so far was Harry Lloyd.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was amazing. I just want to throw that out there. Harry Lloyd, perfect Viserys.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I am the dragon. We have
So
another
they
super chat.
say. Oh, we have another super chat. Thank you, Charles. Y'all girls kill it. Y'all kill it, girls. Keep up the hard work. Look forward to the podcast every week. Much love. Y'all rock.
Thank you,
Oh,
Charles.
real quick, let me tell you guys about this. So we are starting another podcast together, the four of us, and it's gonna be about unexplained mysteries. So it's not a Song of Ice and Fire related, but it's gonna be about unexplained mysteries, and it's gonna be like informative but comedic as well. And I think you guys should check it out. Coming soon. So yeah, back to House of the Dragon. Real quick, who do you? Because I tweeted this the other day. I'm really tired of not seeing Mushroom, and a lot of people were like, "I don't think we're gonna get Mushroom." And to me, I'm just like, why not?
personally, I think if we just get him like just standing in a corner, like he doesn't have to have speaking lines for me. Maybe it's like a little quick like quip here or there, like a little joke. Something small, nothing too attention grabbing would be fine for me. I don't think that costs too much. And also I feel like that gives other people like a big acting break for more inclusivity as well. And
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
it opens up a lot of doors for other people. So I think it would just be a nice little role to have for book readers, like a good nod for us. Slight comedic relief because they don't really have that much comedic relief,
I was
and
thinking
it could
that.
use a little touch of comedy because this is really dark.
Like
It's very dark.
we don't have like Mushroom is our funny character in the Dance of Dragons.
So
Yeah.
can I say something that's don't throw things at me through the
Debbie
screen.
Downer.
Don't you say it.
Womp womp. Realistically, I know I say this every damn episode, law of conservation. In the way that the story is written is basically like you're reading it from a history book. It makes sense to have Mushroom because Mushroom's point of view is comedic. From the point of view of a television show, there's really no point to Mushroom. There's really even as like a little
comedic relief.
But what are they going to have him say? You know, what are they going
to like when they're saying
comedy? Like
what if he could just deliver this one line, and then they kill him, I wouldn't even give a fuck. But this one line, what did Viserys ever have that Rhaenys did not? Was it the cock between his legs? If it was, let Mushroom rule because Mushroom's cock is 3 times bigger. If he could just deliver that line.
I love Mushroom. Don't get me wrong. I super love that Mushroom supposedly. I think Mushroom's like, other than the kids, well, some of the kids, Mushroom is like the sole survivor of the Dance of the Dragons, and he survived by hiding in a fucking ale barrel or some shit like that. But I'm not saying I don't want to see him in the show. I just don't see him in the show, if that makes sense.
Like if they were to make a cut, that would be the cut.
I'm also super concerned that there are certain really important aspects that aren't necessarily like I'm concerned that Breakbones isn't even going to make it into the show.
That's impossible.
No, they have to show him.
I'm just saying I have my concerns. You never know what they're gonna do. Looks like we have a super chat.
If they exclude him, I will have serious concerns for the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with that being said, where do you guys think they're gonna start? Or do we want to answer the super chat before we really get into that?
Oh, I'll get to the super chat. Oh, I don't know where it is.
I
All
found-
high roll reviews.
I found one from Kelly Glass. It says, "I believe in mushroom." I do too.
Me too.
I do
So
too.
shout out to Kelly Glass, who is my in-person very, very good friend. Also, I know she's gonna like blush and get embarrassed when I do this. Kelly is a silversmith and she makes super beautiful jewelry. And you should head over to her. Is it okay if she plugs her website?
Yeah.
Okay. So she makes super beautiful jewelry. It is Wildera on Instagram. That is Wildera. Kelly, please correct me. Anyway, I just love her and I'm excited to see her. And thank you for the super chat, Kelly.
And Kelly, you might have to send your link to Mandy, or like I could just mod you and then you can post it in the chat.
Yes. And I see Katrina's in here. Oh, Katrina. Okay. Anyway, I'm done.
I agree with you that mushroom isn't necessarily needed, but I still want him.
Yeah, I mean, I want him too. I just don't want to. I don't know. Sometimes I just get my hopes up. And then I don't want to be like a book purist that gets let down by the show. So I hope for the best, but keep my expectations realistic.
Expectation management.
I see that Salsa Stark is agreeing with me 100%. And I'm glad because she's my wife anyway. So
Salsa Stark is an awesome cosplayer. You have to check out her TikTok because she be
popping.
Yeah, she be
absolutely
popping.
There are times I see her TikToks and I'm like, look, I think I'm straight, but ma'am.
Miss ma'am.
ma'am. Yeah, no, Salsa Stark on TikTok.
I was wondering.
Amazing cosplaying.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was wondering, like, you say you're worried about not getting breakbones. How would they not do
That's why I was asking, where do you think it's going to start? Because, well, spoiler alert, Breakbones dies pretty early. But so how far back do you think they're going to go?
I think they're going to, I don't know if they're going to start with the funeral, but I think that all the set photos that we're seeing are funeral attendees. It looks like we're getting a lot of Valarians. And I would love it. I would love it if all those Black actors and actresses that we see have speaking parts, but it kind of seems like we've been seeing so many of them. Some of them are extras. So I don't know if we're opening with a funeral. However, that would kind of make sense a little bit because it's far enough back to kind of, I mean, Lena's funeral is essentially where Aemond One-Eye gets into a scuffle with Rhaenyra's boys
and claims
his eye. And he claims, we're going to get into it this stream about Aemond. I can feel it in my bones.
That'd be an action-packed pilot when you think about it. It's like you get a funeral, so you get like all these characters coming together, which is kind of like we got in Game of Thrones pilot, is the ensemble, like the whole ensemble piece of like the opening scene at Winterfell. So I could see that being the opening here. And then you get like something tragic happening to a kid that kind of like handicaps them. So even though Aemond is Aemond, but he's still, he loses an eye, so he has the impaired vision. Similar
and John Aaron's death.
And
it's okay because Aemond grows up to be a dick. So
but it also gives I feel like it also gives a time for Rhaenyra and Damon to have their group of kids, and we do like a little time jump within maybe episodes 1 and 2, possibly.
So here's the thing. I think that House of the Dragon is going to end up being an anthology because they're probably going to do a lot of time jumping. They kind of have to. Like, they have to, because Aemond is not going to. I mean, clearly, Lena's funeral is taking place in the show. I'm just going to go ahead and say
and
that's
like
happening.
10.
Yep. So he's about 9 or 10. Rhaenyra's boys are younger. I don't know if she. Yeah, because Aegon the Third, what is he? He's like 10 when the dance
He's
ends.
also.
So he so
he wouldn't have been born yet.
You're right, because
Lena
wasn't born until
Damon's
wife, Lena had just died. She was Damon's wife, and then Damon turned around and married his niece.
Rhaenyra, yeah. Like
And
a couple
then
months
they had
later
Aegon.
too.
Yeah, and I mean, Aegon was born like right after they were married. So
Yeah.
The pictures that came out of the little Draco Malfoys, they look really young.
Yeah.
Like they look about 10, maybe
Yeah.
10
I
to
think
12.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just saying 10 to 12.
No, I was gonna say I think they probably do like what they did with the Game of Thrones, just age them up just a little bit by like a couple of years. Just,
So do you
child labor laws and all that stuff?
Do you think they were Aegon and Aemond and Darren?
I think so because they have the blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Aegon is
and
Aegon the
Rhaenyra's
second.
won't.
So Aegon the second is 10 years younger than 9 or 10. Better part of a decade, we'll say. About a decade younger than Rhaenyra. So she's in her 20s. Aegon is definitely around, so he's got to be, I mean, if she's got kids young or old enough to be stabbing people in the fucking eye, then Aegon's got to be in his teens, I would say.
Like a preteen, maybe?
Yeah, but something to keep in mind, too, is Alicent is pretty damn young looking. So she still, I mean, I know a lot of people love the show Vikings. I know a lot of people love the show Vikings. And I liked it too until Michael Hurst tried to make Ivar happen. Ivar's, it's like fetch. It's not going to fucking happen.
I waited too late.
Moving along. Anyway, we're going to fight again. Okay, so Lagertha is a boss ass bitch. But I mean, she died in the show when she was in her 60s or 70s, and they never really bothered to make her look like she was in her 60s or 70s. They just gave her her hair.
Their hair is the only thing they changed towards the end of the show.
Right. So I mean, like, I don't want one of those shows where Alicent is supposedly 50 years old and you still have a very young looking, I forget the name of that actress. I know she was
Olivia
amazing.
Cook.
Yes, I know she was amazing in Bates Motel.
Yes, she was. Love that show.
I barely recognized her. So, I mean, she's young. They'll age them up, I think. So I think it's going to be a bit of a time jump. I think they'd be dumb to follow every single blueprint that Game of Thrones had. I know Game of Thrones was really staunch about, we're not going to do flashbacks. There's nothing wrong with flashbacks in the show, but Game of Thrones worked because they had one flashback in 8 seasons. They
said, oh, we're not going to do flashbacks because flashbacks is bad storytelling. And then they wait till season 8 and they just do like 7,000 flashbacks.
They did their first one in season 5 with Cersei and
Malaria.
I think it's supposed to be Malara.
And look how it went down
malaria.
Looks like we have some super chats.
Oh, so we have a super chat. Thank you, Wesley Mons. It makes sense that the show will start in or around 120 AC in Fire and Blood. It states that the seeds that were planted for the dance began to sprout in 120. For sure. I feel like they're going to start from the filming pictures that we have. Lena dies somewhere in the first season.
I think she starts out dead.
I think we start in the pilot at the funeral. Yeah, now that I think about it, just because like that is a great way to introduce the whole cast at once because pretty much everybody's there. So who's who funeral, which sounds a little messed up and morbid, but
do we know
it is the case?
Do we know who plays the queen that never was? Rhaena?
No.
Oh, Rhaena? I thought we
Rhaenys.
Yeah.
Rhaenys. Yeah,
Rhaena is the one that took on Aegon and Sunfire, right? It is so hard. It is so hard to keep up with all these Targaryen.
Only reason I know this is because I was refreshing myself this morning. I'm like, I got you, Baela.
Yeah, it was Baela.
Maybe I should brag and piss somebody else off in the comments later on because I didn't refresh. So they're gonna be like, "Oh, look at her not doing her homework." Anyway, sorry. Die mad.
I didn't do my homework.
Yeah. Guess what? I'm on YouTube. You're not. Okay, so
we have another super chat from Cambria Nicole. Thank you, Cambria Nicole. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. I can see them getting rid of Mushroom, but do you think they morph any characters like Aegon and Jon? I'm wondering if we're gonna get all 3 of Rhaenyra's sons.
No.
Like, do we get I think we have to get Jace.
We'll
I think we
get
have
2
to
at
get
least.
I think Jason Luke, because isn't Luke the first casualty?
Yeah, Luke is the first one to go.
So we gotta get him at least. I think they may skip Viserys. Is it Viserys? Her youngest son, the one that kind of like disappears in Lease,
And then comes back.
Yeah, I think they might just get away with him because it's like
Viserys.
cut that story out. Yeah, unless they plan on going that, I doubt. But like, they just cut that right out.
Unless they make it an anthology and they want to do something with a series later on without retconning, Viserys might not necessarily be necessary to the story. But I think when I think about it, like I can see the 3 strong boys.
Oh,
I don't think
Aegon is definitely.
I don't think Joffrey's that.
Are you sure? Because that's I guess.
So his like even his death is kind of like it's during the storming of the dragon pit. You can just cut that one out.
Yeah, it's not necessarily to the. It's not necessary to the plot because she was already like really, really losing her mind about losing all of her kids.
Oh, and I found out the casting for Rhaenys. It's Eve Best from Nurse Jackie and The King's Speech.
Oh,
I know. Google.
Put it in our little DM messages.
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she's gonna be an amazing. She's gonna be an amazing Rhaenys. She's one of my favorites from the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, me too. And she goes so badass. So
her
badass.
and her man. Speaking of her man.
Let's get to it. I hope the mods are ready.
Speaking of her man, so Rhaenys Targaryen is actually the granddaughter of Jacaerys Targaryen, Jacaerys the Conciliator, and she's married to the Big Daddy Sea Snake. So we have Corlys Velaryon. There's like Corlys Velaryon's casting was my favorite casting. Like I can't even cap. Look at him. Look at those dreads. Look at those dreads.
He looks like a pirate.
Look at that silver blonde hair.
Yes.
That is canon. Yes.
That is canon.
That is canon.
We have another super chat from Lewin Hoke. Thank you so much for the super chat. Your dog is so stinking cute. Look at the dog on the pillow. Longtime fan of Gray Area, new to the podcast. Love you guys and learning a lot. Glad to have you. So,
girl, sorry to cut you off real quick. Somebody corrected. It's Jaehaerys.
Jaehaerys. What did I say?
Yeah, I didn't want to correct you.
Yeah, no.
I didn't want you to call me.
And I was like, just so they don't come at us. I'm like, it's Jaehaerys. Like, so yeah.
You know,
I didn't want Gray to call me a bitch on the live stream in front of everybody again. So I was like, I'll give her that. Jacaerys.
The people that watch me know I rarely pronounce shit right. They know that. They love me all the same. Okay, so Corlys Velaryon though. He's married to Rhaenys, and he has 2 children, Laenor and Laena.
They're twins, correct?
I don't think they're twins.
No, she's older.
Okay.
Laena has twins. Laena has twin girls with Damon.
Nim said in the chat, Corlys can get it thrice on Sundays too.
Yeah.
Zaddy.
But yeah, so there was a lot of negative reactions towards Corlys.
That's putting it gently.
Yeah, that is putting it gently, but there was a lot of negative reactions, and I don't know if you've seen my video. I kind of went ham. I'd been nice about it multiple times, but then I couldn't take it anymore because I don't think like people try. I think people just are negative in general. And they just are like, oh my God, they're ruining the story. It's woke politics. It's not woke politics. Like, it's not. It's a good casting. Get over it. And that's really my thoughts.
So I'm about to go off on a bit of a tangent. To me, the casting makes a lot of sense for quite a few reasons. One of them being it is time to start being more progressive about how we do casting. Another, visually, it really does make sense to have a Black grandpappy to these children who are going to, the strong children who are going to turn out looking very, very white. And people within the show universe speculating whether or not they are dark enough to be this man's grandchild, you know? So, I mean, Rhaenyra has the typical Targaryen features. I don't know if they're going to do purple eyes. We haven't really seen that much of a close-up of any of them. And it's okay if they don't do purple eyes because clearly we are seeing Valyrian features as platinum blonde hair. So, I mean, Rhaenyra has platinum blonde hair. Laenor had platinum blonde hair. In the books, Rhaenyra's children turned out with pug noses and curly brown hair. So what if, and I'm not saying it's going to happen this way, but what if you had Breakbones and you made Breakbones a ginger or something, a redhead, and all of these children turn out with red hair, even though, you know, Rhaenyra is married to Laenor and she's supposed to have children with, you know, platinum blonde hair. And these children are supposed to be a little more dark looking because okay. So genetics, which all of you know this, but there are some people who want to act a little ignorant about how genetics work. It's not that you don't understand. It's just that you don't want to see a Black man in a prominent role. Genetics do some funny things. So, Ara, help me out here.
Yeah. So
I'll help you.
Okay, you can have. Oh, for instance, Ara and I are both mixed.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay, yes. So Ara and I are both mixed. We are both equally Black and equally white. Obviously, her and I look a little different. Why? Because genetic lottery. Like, genetics work just kind of funny. So my dad is African American. My mother is white. I have a full-blooded brother who married a white woman. So his kids are 3/4 white and 1/4 Black. And they still look ethnically ambiguous. You know, my nephew more so than my niece. So, I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibilities that my brother and his wife could have had a very white looking kid and they're still the grandchild of my black father, you know, or vice versa, you know. So, I mean, I'll let you guys take it from here.
I was going to say, if we're doing on like the basic genetic explanations, so I can use myself, for example, in my family. My grandmother and my son share the same background. They have one biracial parent and one parent that is fully Black. My son, and you guys see me, and when you see the camera cut back on, I am very light. My son is a shade or two darker than me. My grandmother, on the other hand, who has the same exact makeup as her great-grandson, these are 3 generations apart of people, my grandmother is darker skinned. And same family, same background, 2 different shades. Mm-hmm. Genetics do what they want to do. It's not as cut and dry as people are making it seem. And I believe the show, like Alicia said, for the example, like, oh, they could have like a distinctive feature like red hair or something like that. They can make it work. I think people are just being ignorant and do not want to see a Black man in a prominent role. And especially one as badass as a sea snake, because I'll say it, he's my favorite character in the world of Ice and Fire, period.
He's the most badass character. So this person said, I've had enough of this shit. Everything and everyone's racist. Good God, unsubbed. Bye. Like, if you feel like this casting or if you have a problem with anything that I say, bye. It's free for you to watch my channel.
See, this is
Don't
see that's
fucking watch
the shit
it.
we're talking about though. Like,
Don't
at what
fucking
point
watch
did
it.
we? At what point did we bash any race? We were just saying genetically this could work, storytelling wise this could work. This is the shit that we're talking about. Like, I'm not trying to blast anyone, but at the same time, I'm sick and fucking tired of justifying my goddamn fucking existence as a mixed person. You know, so I mean, like, die mad. That's all I have to say. Anyway, but I know a lot of people are complaining because they feel that Black Valarians just muddle up storytelling and retcon because 150 years later, Daenerys is white. Guys,
150
do you
years
know
later.
how I hate saying this? I hate saying this to make an anti-racist point. Do you know how easy it is to breed the black out? You know, like,
And
I
vice
hated
versa.
saying that.
Vice versa. You can do it both which ways. It's so easy to change the race of a family within a couple of generations. So it's
Within
not like
two
it's hard to do.
generations.
Within two, like look at Kris Jenner versus, oh my gosh, Diana Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Between their grandchildren, it's very easy for this to switch up. So it's not really retconning. Not only that, but to think of empire as vast as Valeria wouldn't have other types of people besides what you guys think are these super pale people. I'm sorry, they live in a tropical climate. When have you seen super pale people in a tropical climate overall?
And their thoughts as well.
Like, what do you? Yeah, they were all over the place. They were
everybody.
breeding everywhere. So it's like it was such a vast place, and even in our real world history, a lot of people of color tend to be washed out, and that's not fair. And we're, as a woman of color, I'm tired of that. So I'm happy that this show is showing that this actually makes sense, and you can't really prove it because everybody's arguments like, oh, genetics, or oh, it's retconning, or oh, it doesn't match the description in the book, when he doesn't really have a physical description like that.
Nope.
So what are you even talking about?
And that's the thing. Gray did a whole, what was it, 17 minutes, 10 minutes? It was
long.
It was the juice. And I loved it. And I remember sending it to my dad and being like, Dad, you're going to love this one. Anyway, Dad. Hi, Dad. Anyway, sorry about the language, Dad. And so, I mean, she did a whole video on it, and she gives proof from the books that he's never fucking described. And even if somewhere it said he had, listen, by the time Game of Thrones, the actual show, comes around, the Valarians aren't really in the mix. So they could totally show canon, kind of extinct House Valarian.
And the only other person of Valyrian descent that's on the show is a black guy, Salladhor Saan. So it keeps continuity with the books and with the show.
Well, people were pressed about that too, from what I understand. Here's the deal: like,
they're always pressed, but they were never. They weren't pressed when Raz took Aliyaya's place.
Yep. And Aliyaya's was supposed to have dark, her and her mother, Chitaya, were supposed to have dark skin. And here's the thing. I love the idea of in-universe characters debating back and like it could make it so realistic that Corlys is so staunch about the fact that Rhaenyra's children are his grandchildren because of how ambiguous this genetic lottery can be. And I think it's supposed to open up real world discussions about expectations about how a person looks when they're mixed. Because I'm not saying that being mixed is any different or any harder than being any other ethnicity. Please don't take it that I'm being like, my life is harder than yours. No. But being a mixed person is hard. It's fucking hard. Because
walking identity crisis. I feel like
I'm more saying I'm presenting to you the aspects of difficulty of being a mixed person. You are constantly having to justify your existence to people. Like, there are people from every walk of life that don't seem to get it, that don't seem to approve of it, that have something to say, that have these ignorant jokes left and right. And in some circles, you're never going to be ethnic enough for the ethnic side. You're never going to be white enough for the white side. It's very exhausting. existence. And I would love to see this portrayed in a show to kind of present this, not only good storytelling, but to kind of present this more, this bigger narrative for us to think about in our real world reactions. But we have a super chat, a couple of super chats that have been sitting here for a hot minute.
So thank you to SWAC fan 100. Thank you for the super chat. Just saying hello and glad you're around to help educate fans like me that haven't read the books. Well, I like doing it. Thanks for the super chat. We have another super chat from the Purple Lord Leo.
Anansi.
Anansi. Is that from American Gods?
Well,
he was the real god,
Anansi.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Anansi is an
stable.
actual deity in certain African cultures. Yes.
Okay.
So
everything we know is that the sea snake is a bad mofo. Enough said. Yeah, the sea snake, outlives everyone.
Everybody. He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, never mind. Because he had two bastard sons, Alan and
Adam. I mean, it's not explicitly said, but it's like implicitly said, if that makes sense. Like in Fire and Blood.
Well,
I
so
believe that those are her
pretty
children.
badass. The Oak Fist is pretty badass. But let's talk about Nettles, because even in universe, here's the deal: Nettles is mixed. Nettles has Targaryen blood. I think she was just really, really smart about how to tame a dragon. How she tamed the dragon, which was basically just present food, walk away.
A little sheep stealer. She gave him a little sheep every day. I like Nettles. I'm very. Actually, question for you guys. Do you guys think how far along do you think the season might go timeline wise? Oh, we got a bunch of super chats, so I'll just make that quick. Where do you think the season's going to end? And maybe super chats.
When Rhaenyra
season 1.
Yeah, season 1. Season 1.
Viserys dying. I don't know. Viserys might die around episode 6.
I think it's going to end with him dying. I think it's going to end with Rhaenyra losing baby Visenya and her deciding that they're going to go to war. I think, or when
I think it's going to happen when when Luke dies.
I was going to say that, but I'm we're getting into the reads here. I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the only reason why I think it's going to be when Luke dies, I feel like that's a really good season finale, or even because I know they always do really big penultimate episodes and a nice little cliffhanger at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I could definitely see that, because that's when it's everything stops, and then season 2 we open up with blood and cheese and some other sick shit.
I was gonna say, what if it's blood and
so
cheese?
Excited.
God damn it!
Oh, you guys thought the Red Wedding was bad? We'll get
I just don't want to see that.
We'll get to that later.
Let me get to these super chats. So thank you for the super chat, Lauren Griffith. She said, preach. I have 2 girls. One is tan, dark hair, and brown-eyed. The other is white, blonde, and blue-eyed. So real about the not being white, black enough for either side. I love you, strong women. I
Lauren.
think she said, she also said that she forgot to add, everyone asks if it's the same dad. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then we have one from Skunk Works. Thank you, Skunk Works. I think I said that right. As a shockingly white Irish person, Black Corliss is a beast choice. In my eye, Corliss is now Black. Plus, mixed race are the best looking peeps on earth. Ha ha ha. Love from Ireland. Or IE. Is that Ireland? IE?
Yeah.
Okay. My headcanon of Corliss Valerian was that he was an old white guy.
Same.
So
same.
But now he's Black to me, so
same.
Yeah, and he has dreads, and he's a super pirate. I like it.
Now it's he can't go back. I can't go back to that. Someone was like, but Gray, you even said he was a white dude in your video a year ago. Yeah, because I thought he was, but he's not now. He's Black. We also have another super chat from Josh Gripe. Thank you for the super chat, Triple OG Josh from the Discord. Honestly, anyone who's butt hurt over Corliss being a man of color should look in the mirror and do some long, hard self-reflection. Love y'all. And burn some sage.
Agreed.
Burn some sage.
Get
those demons out of your chest.
Yeah, get them demons off you.
Pray to Jesus.
So, Blood and Cheese is an episode 9 thing. We got a comment that said Blood and Cheese is an episode 9 thing. So let's talk about Blood and Cheese real quick. Blood and Cheese, I feel like I'm kind of worried about them not doing it actually. And doing like
I
just
think they had to.
I think they will. So okay,
how
Olivia,
are you gonna? You have to get rid of Jaehaerys. Little baby Jaehaerys got to go. So how do you do it?
So here's the deal. They're gonna have to age up some shit. That's not. I don't know. So here's.
I don't think they're gonna physically show it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be. Have you guys ever seen like the special edition, like the lore animated things that they have for Game of Thrones? That comes with like that with the
The history and lore.
DVDs. The history and lore. Thank you. I'm like, I just was watching that shit earlier. They're on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen them, really good. They have a House of Dragon ones, like 20 minutes, explains everything for you. Check it out. Anyways, also, and don't use the images as canon because I have the strong boys with blonde hair before one of you guys says that.
Yes.
Anywho's it's when they do the blood and cheese scene, they explain what's happening, but they don't actually show what happens. And then the next scene, they kind of cut to just the back of Helena, just like crying with the baby and all that stuff.
I could just
I can see it being done that way.
Yeah.
Like we're not gonna see it, but like.
So should we explain, because there are so many people
that
are
explain it.
Just show watchers what Blood and Cheese is?
Okay, so this is what Blood and Cheese is. So one was a rat catcher, or they both were rat catchers or some shit. One was a rat catcher.
Cheese was the rat catcher.
And then
Blood
City Watch
was a City Watch person. Okay, so after Luke was killed by Aemond One Eye over Storm's End, Damon wrote Rhaenyra a letter that said, like, I'm going to avenge your son, a son for a son.
Eye for an eye, son for a son.
Yes. So Damon hires Blood and Cheese to sneak in the Red Keep through the secret tunnels. Cheese knew them all because he was a rat catcher. And they go in the room. They find Helena, who is Aegon II's wife and sister. And she has 2 kids at the time by him.
I believe Alicent is in the room as well.
Was the girl born yet? The baby girl?
No, it's 3 children. It's Maelor, who's the youngest. He's a baby, who's I think 2. The twins, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera, maybe.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
something like that. But it's the 2 boys, 1 girl.
Whom I think was autistic.
Pick a son.
The girl.
Yeah.
Because she like didn't like to. She was like she didn't talk much. She was like a little socially awkward but smart. So.
Mm-hmm. So Jaehaerys is Aegon's heir, Aegon II's heir, and they tell Blood and Cheese is like, I'm going to kill your kids. Pick one. Which one do you want to die? So she can't decide which one to die, and then she finally decides, so that he won't kill them both. She picks Maelor, her youngest son, to die.
Because he's not the heir and he's too young to understand what's going on. So Blood and Cheese are like, excellent choice. And they kill Jaehaerys, the heir, like the opposite child of what she chose. And they chop off his head right in front of him. Or right in front of Helena, right in front of his twin sister, and right in front of Alicent, who's already tied up on the bed.
And they told Maelor, you hear that? Your mama wants you to die.
You hear that? Your mommy wants you dead. That's so fucked up. So fucked up.
Somebody in the comments, sorry, it's a quick thing. Phil H in the comments said, kind of like what they did when they killed Bara's baby at Peter Baelish's.
See, okay, like I know people that stopped watching Game of Thrones after that and would not watch it again after that. And I don't blame them.
I get it, but it goes to show you how the brutality of this world. It's a very brutal, dangerous society. Gotta play the Game of Thrones, baby. But
My mom stopped watching after Lady's death.
that's a tough one.
She didn't get
It's
far.
tough.
Listen, I don't want to roll my eyes because during the Hold the Door episode, everybody was so caught up on Hodor's death. That's so sad. The first time I watched it through, I was so hyper fixated and so upset. I'm like rocking back and forth just thinking about it. Like, no, they made Summer just like body surf into a bunch of shanking zombies. And he got shanked to death. And that's all I could think about for the rest of the episode. I was like, they killed the puppy. They killed the puppy. They killed the fuck you, Hodor. They killed the puppy.
Whimper, I can't get the whimper out of my head. I can hear the sound.
Like while they're running down that corridor away from while they're running down that corridor away from the whites, you can still hear the wolf being like, arr, arr. I'm like, why would you fucking do this? That's so fucking gratuitous, you assholes. You assholes. You know, but I mean, like, Lady's death bothered me, but I had already read the books at that point, so I saw it coming. You know? So I mean, yeah.
Well, good news is so sorry.
Olivia Cook was quoted to say that she thought that House of the Dragon would be really, really stupid to do any sort of violence against women. And I'm like, oh, honey, you haven't read the books because you have no idea how it ends for Rhaenyra.
Right.
You have no fucking, wow. Like,
wait till you see what happens to your grandkids, baby.
No, and
I know, right?
When people choose not to watch these shows, I 100% understand because everybody has their triggers. Everybody has their traumas. Like, I'm not going to make you watch something that you're not supposed to. I'm not saying, like, get used to it, suck it up, buttercup, da-da-da, because there were plenty of things about the finale of Game of Thrones that really upset me. Like, in Game of Thrones, when Cersei dies right after crying that she doesn't want her unborn baby to die, that upset the fuck out of me, and I'm still salty. You know, so I can understand if people are like, I don't want to watch any sort of violence against children, against women, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, and I'm not saying rudely don't watch it. Like, no, like, that's on, like, no, I understand that. But at the same time, these shows are going to go there. 100%. And it's part of the storytelling. And I it feels like I'm fence riding, but I'm not trying to justify like, oh yeah, let's see kid deaths. You know, it's just kind of like, it is part of the story. And I understand if you don't want to watch it, you know, because it's
easy for me to separate that it's not fucking real.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, but
in real history, stuff like that, real history in real life is disturbing.
Yeah, especially
since we already plugged it. Like when you start plugging in like unsolved mysteries and unanswered stuff, you see some real freaky stuff humans do. So like, it is gonna go there. And hey, think about it. Like, you know, people when you show them Game of Thrones for the first time, and they watch the Red Wedding, but you've already seen it, and you're just waiting for their reaction for the first time because, you know, it's very traumatic to watch. Now you're gonna be that friend that knows about blood and cheese. So when that episode comes, you're prepared. You're welcome.
Well, here's the thing.
I think it's going to be like
You're
what
welcome.
you said. I think it's going to be like what you said, the bear, like how they did with Bear.
Yeah, they're not going to show it, but we're going to know what happened.
Yeah. So I remember the Mountain and the Viper episode in season 4 of Game of Thrones. I had read the books like twice by then. I knew exactly what was going to happen to Oberyn, but I still found myself when the credits rolled and it was just dead silence, just still clenching my butt cheeks. Like I knew it was coming and I was still like, maybe he'll survive in the show. And they went there exactly the way that they did in the books. And, you know, so I mean, like there are times you just hold out hope, like maybe it's not going to happen like it happened in the books. And it happens exactly that. All I'm saying is like, I definitely... blood and cheese is going to happen because they're just like basically the Dance of the Dragons is this steady escalation on both ends and it just gets completely and utterly out of control. And I'm sorry, but like basically both sides of both the blacks and the greens are like team fuck them kids.
Yeah.
Seriously. And what gets me is like when you really step back and think about it, these are all like brothers and sisters, first cousins, stepmothers, Like
they're family.
they're all
it's
family.
So fucked up. It's
like,
so
this
fucked
is like
up.
going to war with your younger sibling to the point that you're like literally annihilating each other.
Okay, but think about how disconnected they are from the fact that they're family, because when it comes down to it, they weren't raised that way. Each other. They are marrying each other.
They're weird. It's sick over there.
What I feel like Lonely Cat said, Shireen's death is the scene I cannot watch. But I feel like if you can burn a child at the stake on TV, you can do the blood and cheese thing.
I don't know, because I remember I was dating a guy with a daughter, and he really enjoyed watching through Game of Thrones for the first. He didn't even know that Ned was gonna die. I was like, how do you? But then again, he's not really on social media, so it made sense. And I got to like, I remember during the Red Wedding when he was watching it, just sitting there and like crawling on him like a jungle gym, being like, "Do you see that?" Anyway, so when Shireen died, he was just like super fucking pissed because he had a daughter, you know, and that's his world. And he's like, he just turned me. He's like, what the fuck did you just make me watch? It's Shireen's death was upsetting for people.
I've never rewatched it. I've never rewatched that scene. That, and if anybody watched Sons of Anarchy, Opie's death, I cannot physically watch it.
Oh my god!
I cannot physically
watch that scene again. I'm still haunted when he turns. He turns to the window and he's like, "I got this," and I'm like, "No."
And then Jax's face. I'm thinking about it. Sorry, guys. I'm like visceral reactions.
Dude, speaking of butt clenching, Sons of Anarchy is such an underrated show that you will clench your butt cheeks the whole way through. Anyway, I keep plugging these shows. Dude, I had someone come up to me and was like, I watched Attack on Titan because of you. Who would win in a fight for Niobe / Alaria's heart? Oberyn Martell or Lucius You know, I have I feel like an idiot.
I never watched
Rome. Who half of those people are.
It's from Rome. I've never watched Rome.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ara?
I have not seen Rome. If you brought up like a Spartacus reference, I got you, because honestly, I believe, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? He's the Gaul. Crixus.
Crixus, yeah.
I think how about we give you a complimentary question after this that's Song of Ice and Fire related? We can answer. I'm so sorry, Josh Hoffman. I'm so sorry, but none of us know what the fuck is going on.
Ask us about Vikings, Spartacus,
Attack on Titan.
Ask her about that.
Yeah. It's on my list.
I know how it is.
I
They're talking about Attack on Titan in the chat now. I love being an influence on the internet.
I would probably say over Martell. Like, I want to have his babies.
Who doesn't?
I love Pedro Pascal. I really do.
I'm trying to make him my baby daddy.
He is such. I was in a Twitter thread about
this. Jaren, like, come on, gotta love him.
He was really, really, really good in that scene because he was pulling off a fight scene while still emotionally pulling you in. Like, I felt like parts of me were projecting about how close I am to my brother. Like, if something happened to my brother, I would be doing this, and like one of my favorite lines from the books ever is when he tells the mountain, if you die without saying her name, I will hunt you through all 7 hells. And in the show, Pedro Pascal didn't do that, but he didn't have to get that same emotional gravitas. But we are so fucking off kilter right now.
Yeah.
So they're still talking about Attack on Titan. Yes, kings and queens.
I want to talk about, we have another picture, and this is like who I've been dying to talk about. So
yes, I can't stand Sir Otto Hightower.
I was gonna say, I was like, he's going to artfully play the most annoying fuck I have ever seen, and I might be here for it in the most loathsome of ways. But yeah, they definitely look like 2 gossipy bitches together in this particular photo. But I do love the costuming, even if I'm not in love with that headpiece. Come for me. Come for my throat, daddy. Yes.
Really? I like it.
I like it too.
I don't like the headpiece.
It's very fitting for like.
It's very Boleyn. It's very
Boleyn. Exactly. I think that's why I like it.
I like that they went for a darker green, like a hunter green.
I thought they were gonna do emerald, no bullshit, and that was gonna get kind of clownish. I feel like.
Yeah.
I do like the darker green.
That
love
kind
the
of
dark
tells
green.
me that they're going to portray her as kind of like a self-centered narcissist. If she's wearing dark green at a funeral instead of black,
I don't think she's at the funeral.
Really?
I think it's
You
just like a press photo, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think she wouldn't go.
Because
To the
that
funeral,
definitely looks like funeral garb.
Does it?
Yeah, to me.
I don't know. His costume and her costume look like they have more green in it, and I feel like they would be wearing straight black if it was a funeral.
To me, it looks like they're in a different location. They're probably in King's Landing, like how Cersei and Jaime were with like Jon Aaron's body, like in King's Landing, and then like everybody else somewhere else. I feel like
I was thinking. Oh, I'm so sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the promo photos from, I forgot what season it is, but it's Joffrey, Tywin, Tyrion, and Cersei. They're at like a beach in King's Landing, and it kind of like gives me that vibe.
Yeah.
I wish I had that picture. If you guys,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think it's a season 4, season 3 promo.
It's a badass picture. They're all standing on like a, right.
Yeah, they're all standing on like a rock, and they're kind of like, looks like they're about to drop a fire album. Yeah.
Yeah, like album cover. Mixtape, Lannister mixtape. Hear me roar.
Catch someone SoundCloud, but no. I personally hate Serrato. No, I said I hate Serrato, but
I hate him too.
I know. Who does like? I want to know in the chat. I'm not going to attack you. I am not going to attack you. But for science, I need to know who does like Otto. I'm not going to call you out.
Oh, can we like go into like Sir Otto a little bit? Maybe like give people a little backdrop on who he is for those that don't know.
I definitely would love any chance to drag his ass. So,
I'm gonna swear a lot.
Sir Otto Hightower is the hand of the king. King Viserys. He comes to. Isn't he hand of the king to Jacaerys too?
He's definitely
Jacaerys.
Yeah,
Jacaerys. Why the fuck do I keep saying Jacaerys?
That's because one of Rhaenyra's son's name is it's Jacaerys. Yeah, Jacaerys, Jace.
Yeah.
That's
so.
Okay, sorry, I'm so sidetracked. Someone said Alicent walked so Cersei could run, and Nim said put that on his shirt.
Oh, seriously?
Okay, sorry, keep going.
We don't know yet. But I do feel like Alicent is gonna be the Cersei character, but Sir Otto Hightower just gets above himself. He just hates Damon. He just has so much beef with Damon, and it's like for no reason, which I kind of feel like the rumors are true that Damon really fucked Alicent. Like, I feel like he really fucked her. Because it's a rumor that Damon actually fucked Alicent before Viserys married her. But anyway, so Alicent comes to court. She's like reading to King Jaehaerys while he's like on his deathbed, and Mushroom like says that Alicent was in there giving him head and everything. Mushroom like she was only reading. Reading wasn't all she was doing. She was gagging on that Targaryen.
She was like 15 or 14 at the time. Oh, never mind. It's medieval setting.
Yeah, and he was like, what, almost 80?
He was dying of old age.
Yeah, like the only character
said twerking for him. So Beelzebub 77 in the chat said twerking for him. I hate you guys. Mostly love, but stop.
Yeah, come on, y'all. But that's true. I think it's facts. I think it's facts. Yeah, she was kind of locking and dropping it in the red keep to the bear and the maiden fair.
I think she was giving him. Listen, I think she was giving him sponge baths, and he was getting a little excited about it, like old decrepit little dying men do.
Like Coming to America.
Nope, I'm grossing myself out now.
Wait, you guys see Coming to America, the first one?
Yeah, parts of it when I was
when they're like, oh, the royal penis is clean. When he has a royal washerwoman.
Oh, like the intro to Word of Mouth by Ludacris. The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Yeah, it's a reference to. I would say it's a reference to Coming to America. That's what they were referencing.
Kilter. Thank you, king shit. Okay.
No, so Sir Otto. Hold on. Let's
So
get
off
back on the
topic.
screen. Let's get back on the screen.
No regrets.
Sir Otto. So Sir Otto Hightower is basically a bitch. He's basically like very ambitious. He's like really rise above himself, and he is like wanting his daughter to marry Viserys, the king, and like they aren't even a house where you would think a king would marry.
They were rich.
I would say because they were rich and they had the connections in Old Town, but he was already married at the time.
Otto wasn't even the Lord, was he?
No,
he wasn't actually.
He was the little brother. He's like the Benjen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, get out of here, Benjen.
And he managed to marry his daughter to a king. So anyway, Sir Otto is like, Damon can never be king. Like, we can't let this happen. And he convinces Viserys to make Rhaenyra his heir. Like, he does everything but suck Viserys' dick to make Rhaenyra the heir. And Viserys is like,
well, we don't know. I mean, let's ask Mushroom.
Yeah.
Mushroom
might tell us something different.
What's that expression? Cut your face to spite your nose, some shit like that.
Cut your nose off to spite your face.
Spite your face. Thank you. Yes, I had a reverse. Don't mind me, guys.
Viserys was kind of like, I'm still young. Like, I can have sons. And then Viserys names Rhaenyra his heir at Sir Otto's, like, beggary. And then Sir Otto's daughter has not one, not two, but 3 sons by Viserys, and Viserys won't change it.
Mm-hmm.
And Sir Otto goes to war after he fucking made all the shit happen.
Like, had he just shut the fuck up and sat back in the first place and
I want to know what started all this.
Because he hated Damon so much that he's like, Damon cannot be the heir apparent. There's no way he can be the heir apparent. You know what? Maybe if we make the girl the heir apparent, I think maybe because he probably just assumed that Aemma maybe would live longer, but wasn't she sickly anyways? So and then you put your daughter as his wife. So
I think Aemma was dead. Wasn't she dead by the time he named Rhaenyra heir? Because she died giving birth.
She died. Okay, so she died.
She died giving birth a couple years
later. His original
later.
heir. Yeah, so she gave birth to a baby boy, and then there was a strain on Damon and Viserys' relationship because Damon was basically like, "Well, sucks to suck. I'm still the heir." When the son died along with Aemma.
The son, you're right. The heir for the day. But I don't think he really said that. Like, I think that's some shit Sir Otto made up.
So like here's how I think it started. I think that Damon fucked Alicent, and that caused contention. And here's the deal: like Damon, the way I see Sir Otto treating Damon, like imagine your mom, like you going off to college, and your mom marries your stepdad, and you come back from college, and suddenly your stepdad is treating you like you're a stranger in the house you grew up in. So yeah, Damon's gonna be like, "Fuck you! I'm just gonna troll." Like I think Damon just kind of fucked with him from that point forward, and it just went back and forth.
What I trying to just think trying to rationalize Sir Otto's thinking here, just because I try to get into other people's shoes and think how they think to understand who they are and their motivations.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally forgot this did come up after Aemma died. So if you were intending on trying to get your daughter on the throne, why wouldn't you just wait to see until he was married before doing all this? Like, well, no, Damon definitely can't be the heir. Like, why do when you had these ambitions in the first place? Because now you put it in this guy's head, then he goes marries your daughter, and then you have 3 grandsons, and he's like, "Oh no, actually, that was such a great idea that you had. Honestly, why should I change it? Rhaenyra would be perfect." And he's like, "Oh no, you got grandsons, like you have sons over here." And he's like, Nah, they're not important. So it's like if you just shut up and stop hating on Damon in the first place, never would have happened.
Well, how they wanted to do it was, Otto convinced Viserys to make Rhaenyra the heir, and then they tried to marry Rhaenyra or betroth Rhaenyra to Aegon II. Like that's what they were banking on, but the two didn't even get along with one another. So Viserys is like,
I also think there's a point where Sir Otto didn't really understand the relationship between Viserys and Daemon, and he was kind of worried that Daemon might kill Viserys and take the throne for himself. Like Ned Stark in Game of Thrones never thought that far ahead. Like where like what happens if I tell Cersei this and then Robert dies? He never thought about that. So I feel like Sir Otto is smart but also dumb. But I think he really thought that there was a possibility because Daemon had basically control of King's Landing when he was the head of the Gold Cloaks. And also, if you actually think about it, when they kicked Daemon out, I feel like he had enough. Like, if he wanted to, he could have took that shit. Like, he had the Sea Snake, he had the Sea Snake's fleet, he had Rhaenys, he had Corlys Velaryon, he had Laena, like, he had Vhagar.
And the Gold Cloaks.
And the Gold Cloaks. Like, he could have fucking took that city if he wanted.
Well, figure Driftmark is right outside of it, so you can do a blockade of King's Landing in that little port that they have there. You control the Gold Cloak, so, and he's way more popular with the other troops because he's more of a warrior than Viserys. So if he wanted to take it, he could have taken it a long time ago, but he respected his brother, and I agree with you. I think that's actually why more so than because I'm not too familiar with Alicent and Daemon possibly having relations. It's
just a rumor.
Yeah, I just wasn't familiar with it, but I could see more so that fear and that paranoia of like, oh, they figured they were like they had no problem killing their siblings. So I still think it's stupid, but whatever.
We have a super chat that is on brand to what we're talking about right now from Claire Chwellick. How do you ladies feel about Daemon? For me, Daemon is that asshole I love. He's an ass, but I love Daemon. I love reading about Daemon. Like personally, I feel that both the blacks and the greens are major assholes, but I love Daemon. I think he's an intriguing character. I love reading about him. I find myself rooting for every conflict he finds himself in. If he were a real person, I wouldn't fuck with him because he's just, but personally, I love Daemon. And now that I've seen Matt Smith in costume, I'm super okay with Matt Smith. I know you didn't ask this, but I'm riffing off of it. I'm super okay with Matt Smith playing Daemon because I think he'll play the fuck out of it. So
I love Daemon too. I love all the great characters in A Song of Ice and Fire. So like Jaime is one of my favorites. Daemon is one of my favorites. Daemon reminds me a lot of Jaime. I don't think like he's inherently bad. I think he gets the short end of the stick a lot. And I think he gets painted to be like a villain a lot. And I also think he's badass. Like the quote about him that describes him from George basically says like he's equally evil, equally good. And he's like, to some, he's the blackest villain, and to others, he's a hero. And if you are team black, then he's a hero. If you're team green, he's probably a villain to you. I feel like a lot of people won't like him though.
He's gonna be one of those characters. I think, like I figure season 1, Jaime, nobody liked Jaime. Well, I shouldn't say nobody liked Jaime, but majority of fans didn't come around to liking Jaime until his hand got chopped off. Daemon, I feel like Daemon doesn't really have that kind of a moment of humbling, if you will, but I feel like he'll grow on people more. I'm in the same camp as you. I personally like him because he's so morally gray. Not only that, he does like some of the coolest shit. like his death alone is probably going to be like the highlight of the series for me. Like I cannot wait. Like all the dragon fights we're about to see, I'm so excited. But I do also think, even though, nobody asked. At first, I complained about the Matt Smith casting because that's not how I pictured Damon in my head. But after seeing him in costume, I'm like, I really think he's going to do a great job and deliver.
I think we all wanted Ragnar from Vikings.
Yes, Travis Fimmel.
Yeah.
I would have died.
But one of my most favorite Damon scenes from the books is when he's walking through Harrenhal with Caraxes. Like Caraxes is inside Harrenhal with him, and he's like, there was nothing but him and his dragon walking alone. And I'm like, God damn it, I want to be in Harrenhal right now. But I can't. But
I deeply appreciate Damon.
Yeah, you say you appreciate Damon?
I deeply appreciate Damon.
Me too. And I love all the stuff he does with the nettles towards the end. Like them going to find who are they going to find? Aemond?
Oh yeah.
They were looking for Aemond, and like
hate that
their whole separation. Like that's one of the most interesting storylines to me is what happened between them two, what happened during their separation. Did she go to the Vale? Is she like the leader of the Burned Men?
I think she is. I firmly it's in my head canon. Yes, she is.
Me too.
Just the signs all point in that direction, and I feel like the Aarons were an ally, if I'm not mistaken, to the Blacks. So I think for her, Damon probably told her like, "Hey, go lie low over here." Maybe he expected to live, or maybe he wanted to give her the hope that he might actually defeat Aemon unscathed, but I highly doubt that. You're going against Vhagar.
What if he lived?
Well, Vhagar was very old.
They never found him. They never found his
Aemon.
They found Aemon.
Okay, I've said this
They
before.
found Aemon
I'm going to say it again.
But
how did they find how? First of all, how deep was this lake? I need to know how deep this lake was. Is there such a thing as medieval fucking scuba divers? How did they retrieve bodies here?
They found Dark Sister. So
right.
I don't know, like, if they swam down there and looked around and found. I mean, a dragon. The bones of a dragon
wash up. I was gonna say like because once the dragon falls into the water, there would be a lot of waves and a lot of things like kind of moving through the water. So I can imagine his body maybe washing up in that. I don't know.
I don't think it washed up. They said he was still strapped into the dragon. And they found Dark Sister still stuck through his eye.
Listen, logistically,
maybe it wasn't
so
deep
bothered.
enough. Maybe it wasn't deep enough.
It wasn't that deep.
I need answers.
Because if it wasn't that deep, Vhagar was huge. So if it wasn't that deep, maybe like
somebody said they used
out a little bit. Like, I don't know.
They used chains to retrieve the body, Alicia. Season 7.
Oh my gosh, I could do my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean reference that I always bring up when the chains come up. It's gonna be like that scene where they're walking underwater. They're just gonna walk underwater, go get the body, bring it back.
Look, if I were given a choice, book canon, to be told what Vhagar's color is, or how the fuck they retrieved Dark Sister and Aemon's body, I would choose the latter of those two because I'm more bothered with that question. But I see that my wife has posted a super chat. Look at that thumbnail of her looking amazing in her
looking just like Marjorie Tyrell.
Looking
Pour
like
one out for the
I
dragon.
thought that was Marjorie.
Exactly. That's how great she is at what she does.
Thank you so much for the super chat. We have another super chat from the Queen.
Hey.
Nim, thank you for the super chat. Is Nettles Damon's secret lover or secret love child? So many different. I think both.
Both of them. Both of them. Yeah, no, he's a nasty boy.
I mean, he fucked his niece. And
I think
he took her virginity, like that rumor that Mushroom was talking about, like, oh, Viserys first kicked him out because there were rumors he was teaching Rhaenyra how to seduce Sir Kristen Cole. Yeah, I think he's.
I don't feel like watching that shit.
I think they're lovers.
No, that's like
when they separate and go their separate ways. Like the dragons squeal and break all the windows in John Quill's tower. So I think not only were they lovers, I think she might be the only person that he ever really loved. Because he was with Rhaenyra because he was an opportunist. He was with Lady Misery. He was with Lena because he was an opportunist.
Oh, definitely.
He was never in the Vale.
What's her name? The Royce woman.
Yeah,
he hated her.
Hated her. And then like Lady Misery, he was never really in love with her. I mean, he did present that bitch with the dragons.
They announced the casting. They announced the casting for her.
She's Asian.
They did.
I think she's Asian.
Yeah, she's played by an Asian actress. I was gonna say when we just brought up Damon being an opportunist, do you think that possibly Dana, Rhaenyra, and Lena were a throuple? Because I kind of could see it because they talk about how they're always together. And for those of you guys who haven't read Fire and Blood yet or World of Ice and Fire, Laenor, who is Rhaenyra's first husband, is homosexual, which is why it's highly, and it was very common knowledge. It was like Renly, everybody knew. So it was very highly implied that her children were of Sir Harwin Strong, aka Rachel. So do you think they were a throuple?
I honestly do.
So gross. Probably because here. Okay, so do you remember in season 7, even though we all saw it coming, when we saw Jon Snow and Daenerys bone on the boat, and we were like, no, okay.
For me, it was more so like,
and they're remnants of the Targaryen.
Chemistry.
Yeah, well, they're remnants of the Targaryen,
maybe, but they didn't have any chemistry.
It was disturbing because even if they didn't know at the time, we knew Daenerys was Jon's aunt, and it was disturbing to watch. Now, they're just remnants of the Targaryen dynasty. At this point in the story, Targaryen dynasty is at large, and they're knowingly boning each other. So think about all the discomfort we're going to end up desensitizing.
That shit does not bother me. Like,
it doesn't.
That shit
bothers me.
It's none of it.
In real
none
history, again, and bringing up like real life history, is very common for uncles to marry nieces. Like, bring up my War of the Roses reference for the episode. I missed one last week. So Elizabeth of York was pretty much going to be queen no matter what, whoever won the Battle of Bosworth, because she obviously married Henry Tudor, but she also would have married Richard III after his wife died, who is her uncle. Mm-hmm. That's her daddy's little brother. And people were okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. Like, I know it's not real. Like, so I know it's not real, so it doesn't bother me. Like, the only thing, I swear, like, the only thing on Game of Thrones that bothered me was the direwolves dying and the dragons. All the other shit didn't bother me.
We have another super chat.
Probably just a cold bitch. Thank you for the super chat, JCL Productions. Hello, in House of the Dragon, do you think they will do a lot of sex scenes that rival Game of Thrones, or do you think it will be more tame since a lot of people complained? I think they'll be the same. Mm-hmm. And it may
we're gonna see Matt Smith's naked ass.
Oh, definitely. He was a man whore.
Yeah.
You know that TikTok sound that has that one song that sounds like really hardcore, and then it flashes over to the so that's all I can think about when I see Matt Smith sometimes, because people were really fucking pissed off that Matt Smith was cast, and so they did this like badass music with like the pictures that we do, like the artwork that we see of Damon, and then it would show like they were wrong. They got the ugliest pictures possible of Matt Smith during the part of the song where it's like, we're going to see his naked ass. Oh my God, we're going to see Matt Smith's naked ass.
I think a lot.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's not going to be, I feel like they got a little less gratuitous as the seasons went on.
Because they realized they didn't need the sex to sell the show.
They really didn't. Exactly. Yeah. So I think we'll get touches when necessary, kind of like how they handled it in later seasons. But I personally think there'll be more chemistry involved because I'm going to bring it up again. Kit Harington and Amelia Clark had zero chemistry. I think that's why that rushed love story really didn't work because I didn't feel it. Like I couldn't feel it between the actors. I think maybe because they had like a more friendship type of role and she knows Leslie. I don't know, but like it wasn't
they're
there.
good friends in real life that even in the interviews they were talking about finding out that they would have love scenes. They were just like, you know, so I mean,
like we could tell, guys, you didn't do your job.
Yeah. I mean,
obvious.
I would be weirded out like if I had to do a sex scene with like one of you guys' significant other, and like she's really close with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd be weird. I wouldn't want to do that shit. Not gonna lie.
Well, not only that, but
I wouldn't either. But if it's my job and we gotta finish this out strong, and it's already like a sinking ship, so maybe I can at least try to have a little bit more chemistry.
Well, I mean, okay, so
the problem might
friend,
be.
well,
the problem. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my best friend is a guy, and I love him dearly. Even if you paid me, if someone was like, "Okay, you two are gonna do a sex scene," we'd be like, "Oh, okay." Okay, it's just, I mean, even though in theory most guys are like, no guys have friends that are girls that they wouldn't fuck. I don't care. It's still weird when you're such good friends with someone to suddenly be like, no, I'm done. Okay, go ahead.
And we had where like John or Kit Harington and Rose Leslie, they actually fell in fucking love on the show. And they sold the
chemistry.
Ooh. Yeah, they sold that. And it's like to go from that to where.
That's why I was like surprised because it's like we've seen him do it before. Same thing with Amelia Clark with Jason. I mean, it's Jason Momoa, but like, like they can deliver it. They just didn't deliver it, and we're getting so off track. So House of the Dragon, they're going to be sex, not a lot, but they're going to be sex.
Not a lot. But one thing I wanted to talk about was Sir Kristen Cole. I can't stand him.
I like him.
Good, talk about him because I hate him.
Okay, do not give me that stank eye because before we start, listen to me. Okay, before we start streaming, she's like, I'm just coming around to liking Aemond One Eye, and I'm like, the fuck. Okay, we are even. Don't give me that look. Okay, so Kristen Cole is a son of a bitch. He's an amoral son of a bitch, but he's another character that I really love reading about. I don't know why. I just think it's so funny because I definitely think that Rhaenyra rejected him. And she did. Jilted mother. Because here's the deal. If he rebuffed her, he would not go that hard to destroy her. He just would not. He went for her. He tried to run away with her. And she was like, no.
And she was like, no. Bitch, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think anyway, I don't know what it is, but I actually like Kristen Cole. But Clara in the chat, Clara Tube said incel alert with a siren emoji.
No, but I honestly think that she turned him down. That's the way that the story goes, in my opinion, because I've seen dudes just like him. And yeah, I can't stand him.
And it'd be typical for them to slander the woman because remember, everything we're reading is from the point of view of a maester. So keep that in mind. We're not getting internal POVs.
Even in real life, like girls get such a bad rap about the ones that get attached. And listen, like I hate the term "hell hath no fury like a woman scorned." I'm like, bitch, have you met a man jilted? They will if they want you and you reject them, they will try to ruin your fucking life.
Yes.
They will try to, and they will use their position as a man to try to ruin your fucking life. Whereas with a woman,
look crazy.
Yup. Whereas like with a woman, it's not that women can't get crazy, but it's like, like men are so much more threatening toward a woman in most cases. So I mean, like when a man gets rejected, that shit gets scary.
Yeah, he was.
Agreed.
She totally told him to kick rocks.
So I was gonna
He like
say
that shit.
I have a little different headcanon version of events. How I see it going is she liked him when she was really young, so she's always infatuated with him. He always wore her favor. So I could see her one night being like super drunk, like, "Hey, boo, you wanna?" And he's probably like, "Little girl, get away from me! I'm not trying to get in trouble. Like, no, thank you. Like doing his duty, like he's supposed to do, like a responsible guy." And he's like, "All right, whatever." And then she just like gets over him and is just like, "Well, all right, well." Yeah, there's this new boo over here, Harwin. Hey. So I think he kind of starts feeling salty, like, wait, so you don't like me anymore? Like, what's that about? Who's this new guy? And like, he gets jealous that her attention is now being put to someone else, even though he may have turned her down just out of just respect, possibly. But the fact that she no longer wants him, he's like, he didn't like that.
So he
So then he
did.
went super hard against her, like maybe he felt like kind of betrayed because she probably was like moving past their little girlhood crush. Like she was like, I'm over it.
He
Yeah.
basically
You weren't
tried
that
to
cute
kill her.
anyways.
He basically tried to kill her. Just
Yeah.
very, very roundabout. Look, he straight
He
up.
was sexually repressed too, so he's
You know,
probably
now that I
like,
talk about it, at first I was like,
he's
yeah,
probably just like a
okay.
big dweeb.
I like reading
that could
about
fight.
I like reading about Kristen Cole, but when it comes down to it, he went hard to assure she did not get the throne. Because here's the deal too, like he had been her sworn shield from the time that her father was, like he had known all these years she was supposed to be heir. His big beef with her is that she had babies that weren't his. She rejected him. She didn't want to run away with him. Like he called that, him and Allison called that meeting where they were like, okay, we got to usurp this. We have to usurp this throne. And when Beesbury said like, cough, cough, we can't do it, he slit the dude's throat in front of the rest of the fucking high council. You know, yeah.
He was fucking Allison too.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? You guys see Kill Bill?
Yeah.
When over in Ishii's like, if anybody brings up half whatever heritage it is a weakness, this gonna be you.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I
she
think
was
Kristen
super
Cole
calm the whole time and then held up the head. She's like, if anyone has something to fucking say. That was great.
That was Kristen Cole with Beesbury. He was like, all right, anybody else got something to say? No? All right. So Aegon's king and we're moving on. Like I kind of picture it that way. Yeah, no, he's just a dork. And I'm just here to say that. If it wasn't obvious, Team Black.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that Rhaenyra was the rightful queen, but I don't have a horse in this race because I think they both became out of control assholes. But I will say, Rhaenyra was the rightful queen.
And the ball doesn't lie. That's why her son sat the throne.
Yes. We have a question from Natalie Bacasa. Are there gonna be Starks in House of the Dragon? Yes. Kragan Stark. I did a whole video on Kragan Stark. I really love Kragan Stark. I feel like he's a super badass. The Hour of the Wolf is like one of my favorite moments during the dance. So Kragan Stark is the Lord of Winterfell, and he like negotiates this pact with Rhaenyra's son Jace, and there's like this whole alleged secret marriage, and that we don't know if it's true. So we're like, everyone is like, oh, we already know what's gonna happen in Dance of Dragons. Why do we care about it? You know how it ends. You know, like broad strokes, but you don't know the story because each time we get like an event told to us, it's like three different scenarios, at least two different scenarios, one from Mushroom and one from the Maester or the Septon, whoever's writing the damn book. So we don't know what's going to happen. And they're going to do a lot of filling in the blanks that we don't have. So Kragan Stark, do you feel like we see Kragan Stark in season 1? I feel like we do.
I think we'll see him before the dance is over, just so that he's not just a random face coming out of nowhere to be handed.
I was gonna say, do you think we get a flashback of either of these two flashbacks. I think we're going to reference the Great Council. Probably not going to see it, but I think we're going to get a flashback of when Viserys called all the lords into the realm to pay homage and pretty much declare Rhaenyra as the heir and defend her rights as the heir. Because they bring that up and they're like, the succession has been clear, which is why Craig and Stark, they follow that oath that they made to uphold her rights. So I think we might get a flashback of that.
So
possibly.
Most shows do flashbacks in some way. Just because Game of Thrones decided not to do flashbacks doesn't mean like this show is going to follow the same formula. So I think that's a huge possibility. But in the event that this show decides to go with the same framework that Game of Thrones did, they might not necessarily have to. Because think about how, like Cersei would talk about what Joffrey was like as a baby. Like you got within the show, you got this whole image in your head of what it was like for her when her children were younger, 0 flashbacks involved. And it was just some throwaway lines in dialogue. So, I mean, they could definitely, without it being too forced in dialogue, just talk about like, do you remember, sir, during this great council? So I mean,
maybe
I love flashbacks.
Cold opening?
Could be.
I love they did with Malaria. Like I feel like that Malara. I'm gonna keep butchering that little poor girl's name that fell down that well.
Malara and Cersei, Maggie the Frog.
Yeah, that was a cold. I think the season 5 cold opening. They opened that way, so I could see them maybe season 2. I originally thought it was gonna be anthology, but there's so much to unpack. So I see it maybe going a couple of seasons, not as long as Game of Thrones. Maybe like 4. Maybe 5 tops. 4 seems 3, 4 actually. I don't know.
I think 3 or 4 10-episode seasons.
Yeah, I could see that maybe in a cold open season 2 and Craig and Stark in season 2.
I think he's in season 1. Ooh. I think that guy.
Well, whenever Jace gets there.
Yeah, so I think he's in season 1 because we need to know who he is before Jace goes north and fucks with him. Or maybe we won't know who he is. Like I was thinking like we might get a scene with him like how we got that Tywin and Jaime scene before Tywin popped off that wasn't in the books, like that, or Tywin skinning that deer.
Yeah, I would like that.
We might get a scene like that. I don't know. I feel like they need the Starks.
Jace's arrival to the north. Just kind of maybe just be a big introduction to a bunch of the Northern Lords.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that. Because like figure they introduce new characters throughout different seasons. So maybe if we don't get him season 1, I definitely see him becoming really prevalent in season 2. Because it's like a big thing that they always mention in the background. Like the Northern Lords are still gathering their forces and coming down. Like even though they kind of arrive late to the party in King's Landing, when they arrive, they tear it up. Like they mentioned how that was a problem for years to come with them finally getting down there. So I'm excited to see it. I don't think they're going to be as prevalent as what we're used to, but there's going to be so many Targaryens, so many dragons, guys. Trust me, there's so much we're going to get.
So happy I caught you live. Thank you for the super chat, Laminia. Another super chat. Thank you, Crow, for the super chat. I think I answered all the super chats. So we're going to be winding this stream down. I think we're going to be talking about now. We're going to talk about one more character, and then we're going to wind the stream down. So we're talking about Aemon One Eye.
No, I'm emotionally dissociating.
Oh, can we combine him with Aegon? Because we haven't talked about Aegon at all. Because I think he's
Let's just talk about the Green Boys.
Yeah, let's lump them all together. The youngest one's cool. I don't have a problem with him. What's his name? Daron.
Yeah.
Whatever his name. Yeah, he's cool. Don't got a problem with him.
Probably won't include him.
Yeah, they might just skip him because he really.
They might need him for
was it Tumbleton?
Tumbleton, yeah.
Yeah, but they might not need that scene.
Oh, they have to do Tumbleton. Oh, you mean just him not being there?
Oh, yeah, unless they. Ooh, do you think they're gonna cut down on the dragon seeds?
I mean,
I know one.
Conservation. I keep saying it, y'all.
I don't think they can really, because
I think maybe the two traitors and maybe just make one of them.
the dragon seeds really helped Rhaenyra in the beginning and really put the fucking nail in her coffin towards the end when they turned on her.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
That
I could
is
see like
true.
because two of them betrayed her, so I can see maybe them cutting one of those people out if they wanted to like cut down, if they're gonna start cutting characters or like combining some of them. Maybe like I could see them combining, maybe add. Oh no, because Alan's the one that dies. So yeah, I don't know. They may combine Adam and Alan. I hope not, but that didn't answer what you were just asking at all. I went on a tangent. I am so sorry.
You're good.
We were talking about Aegon and
all right.
Aemon.
Aegon
I
and
like
Aemon. So
I like
the
Aemon.
two green boys. Let's talk about them. Go ahead, Ara.
I like Aemond, which not a spoiler. I love the bad guys all the time. Like, just throw that out there just to know something about me if you were interested. So yeah, I like Aemon. They call him Aemon One Eye because when he was a young boy at Laena's funeral, he decided he was going to sneak out early and claim Vhagar as his dragon because he was the only one of his siblings that didn't have one. So on his way there, Rhaenyra's youngest son, Joffrey, saw him and was like, hey, you leave that dragon alone. And he's like, hey, yo, kid, mind your business. And then he pushed him in some dragon poop, which I think is kind of funny. But they pushed him in some dragon poop and was like, I'm going to still take this dragon. And he ends up taking Vhagar, going on a little joyride, comes back. And that's when Rhaenyra's older boys come over and they're like, hey, don't you mess with my brother. And then he started calling them like strongs and mocking them for being bastards. And they start fighting. And one of Rhaenyra's children ends up getting pretty much like cutting Aemon's eye out. So then he puts a sapphire in it. So I'm not sure if they're going to do that on the show, but I would love to see that. I think they're going to be cheap and just make an eye patch, but
I'd love to see the sapphire eye.
I want to see the sapphire eye. I need to see the sapphire eye. But
one of the real things I'm most interested in about Aemond is his relationship with Black Aly. Yes. Is it Black Aly? Is that her name?
Yeah.
The witch from Harrenhal?
No. That's
no.
Black Aly is the one.
A black yeah.
Black Aly goes with Kragan, right? She winds up marrying Kragan.
Yeah.
What is the one that Aemond?
Oh, the little witch that is pregnant with his kid or something weird like that, right?
Something Rivers.
Alice Rivers.
Alice Rivers. Thank you. Yes.
We have a super chat from Kelly Glass, and she said they just announced Graham McTavish in the cast. Who do you think he'll be cast as? So I saw a lot of people thinking that he might be cast as Kragan, but I feel like he's too old to be Kragan.
I think he's going to be cast as Boris Baratheon.
I was going to say the same thing. Boris Baratheon. He looks it. He looks like he could be Bobby D's ancestor. He looks like he could be related to Mark Addy. Like I can see it.
Oh wow! So that means we get Luke's death.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what I'm saying.
I think has to happen.
I think that's season 1, like early, like maybe see episode 9 of season 1, possibly. I know I just said this finale earlier. I changed my mind. Penultimate episode. You heard it here first. I'm calling it Luke's death.
Well, no. Listen, because do you remember when you had that actor send you his audition tape? It was that scene, and that doesn't mean they're going to use it in the show, but it's most likely. It was a scene from
you just
the Baratheon's Hall. Huh?
Oh, Storm's End.
You just spilled tea.
You posted it on Twitter with his permission.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, so, the scene in Storm's End.
The scene is the Storm's End. Tell your whore mother thing. The whore of Dragonstone was that scene. So yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. I'm with Ara. I co-sign that. Luke's death, episode 9.
Yeah, because they need like something big, and then I don't maybe blood and cheese in the finale then. Rather than I changed my mind. I just reordered the whole show. You saw it here. Yeah, so penultimate episode, Luke's death, blood and cheese, season finale. That's
we'll find
my
out,
thoughts.
And we'll be
Those are my
here
thoughts.
Every Sunday night to be like, whoa.
Yo, if that happens, all you guys better subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm good.
You should
Good at
subscribe
predictions.
to her YouTube channel.
Oh,
anyway.
anyways, but yeah.
So we have one more question from Crow. Thanks for the super chat, Crow. How much you think they got cut from the show and crack? I feel like they're going to be adding a lot. I kind of agree with Alicia that they might cut Mushroom. I don't like that. I don't like that. I agree with her, but I do agree with her. I do think it's possible that they cut Dayron. I don't know though. I feel like they need him. And I don't feel like they can cut. Listen, see, I'm not the right person to ask this because I'm biased. I want all of them.
So I think that what makes George's stories great is that he finds a way to humanize every character. I think a way to make the Greens seem not so villainous and more sympathetic is to throw in a good seed like Darren. Because Darren was a sweet, well, even like you can do that with Aegon. We haven't really talked about Aegon II a whole lot. I kind of buy that he was a little hesitant to take his sister's throne at first.
He was.
I buy that.
Yeah, I think there's like a couple accounts where they say like he was like, this is my sister's throne, but they kind of talk him into it. Like they put this like seed of paranoia, like, oh, she's gonna see now. Wait, I'm circling everything back. Everything's gonna come back right here. Sir Otto Hightower thinks that these sibling Targaryens are just gonna start offing each other, so he turns them against each other to do what he wants them to do. He did it with Viserys and Damon, made Viserys think Damon could possibly be a threat to him. He did the same thing with Aegon against Rhaenyra. He made him believe that Rhaenyra would be a threat to himself and his children. And had his stupid ass little brother not done anything, things could have ended a lot differently. But yeah, no,
that's the thing, like even through other people's lenses, Aegon didn't start getting hostile until the Blood and Cheese incident.
And again, it had
understandable.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like his mom did a lot of convincing to like. She basically told him like, if you don't kill her, she's gonna kill you. If you don't take this crown, she's gonna kill you, your kids, your family.
Not completely okay. So Alicent, as much as she's gonna be painted to be a Cersei, I think she did kind of. Otto started this shit because he groomed her like some Thomas Bolin and Anne Boleyn crap. So she was groomed.
Oh, for sure.
She was groomed to be ambitious. So I think that by the time Viserys died, from her point of view, because of the rivalry with Rhaenyra, the rivalry of the children, all that other stuff, I think she honestly believed it started with her and her father's ambition. Don't get me wrong, but I think she honestly believed that was their only shot at survival. Did she start this shit? Yes. However, Damon did not like the Hightowers. Damon did want to be king. Damon did want to rule to some extent. He just didn't want to take the throne from his brother, even though he could have. It's why he married Rhaenyra. It's why, so I mean,
if Rhaenyra's kids weren't bastards, I feel like she wouldn't feel the way that she does.
Right.
I feel the same way. I think actually if her children weren't bastards, they would have a stronger claim. But at the same time, all right, so the three oldest are bastards. She has two other sons that aren't, and one of them ends up eventually being king, and those are true born Targaryen children. So I mean, say you want to dismiss the other three and just put the youngest one on the throne, would it probably start an issue? Yeah, but cross that bridge when you get there. But I think, Sir Otto just obviously raising his daughter, grooming her this way. And figure he definitely was grooming her. Like he brought her to court very young and made her read and Lord knows whatever else with Jaehaerys. So yeah, I told you I really don't like Sir Otto.
We discussed this. She twerked for him during the
but I think Aegon, I think he's going to start off as sympathetic, but then after the events at, I think it's Rook's Rest or Rook's Nest, whatever. I'm tongue tied, but where John Connington eventually lives. Yeah, we've been drinking. But where, not really spoiler alert because we've been talking about the plots this whole time, but when Rhaenys Aemond and Aegon like kind of have their fight, if you will. I feel like after that, he was just like a whole new character. So I think he's kind of be like a tragic character maybe in the show. They're gonna paint him really sympathetic at first, like a child that's kind of being manipulated by his mother and grandfather.
I think
And then eventually loses a child out of the actions of no fault of his own. He didn't tell Aemon to do that. So I feel like at first we're going to be really sympathetic to him, and then we're going to see him lose his mind, and it's going to be just really tragic and sad to watch.
Aemon reminds me so much of Arryn Brightflame.
Yes.
So much. Like I feel like Aemon ain't got it all up here. He doesn't have it all upstairs. We have another super chat from Josh. Thank you for the super chat. Off topic a bit, but will we see Cannibal on the show? I think so. I think we're seeing all the dragons that we can, and Cannibal, because no one physically needs to ride him, would be easily CGI'd in there.
And it would be a nod to another black dragon in the show.
Yeah. And also, I read an article that said that the budget for House of the Dragon is the same amount as the budget for season 8 of Game of Thrones, which was insane.
Well, how Cannibal could be important is if you remember when an injured Sunfire and Aegon made it to Dragonstone, one of the reasons they went so under the radar is because when dead dragons were found consumed, everyone assumed it was Cannibal because it tracked, but really it was Sunfire trying to sustain himself on another dragon. So that could be how they bring him in. That, and I think it's kind of cool to just have just these random dragons that haven't been tamed, but weren't there 3 dragons that were never claimed?
There's like
Cannibal, Ghost or Smoky Ghost, the
Grey Ghost.
Grey Ghost.
He was claimed, I think.
He was eaten, wasn't he?
Yo, I totally forgot. Not my book.
I'm pretty sure the Grey Ghost was eaten. I think it was like
no, Grey Ghost was never tamed and was killed by Sunfire.
Okay, yep. So
that Dragonstone.
Yep, it was the one eaten, which pisses me off. And then there was one that just like flew off. No. It was Silverwing flew off over Red Lake.
Yeah.
That scene is going to be so sad where Silverwing and Vermithor are like crying out to each other during Templeton.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be so... I think that's probably when we'll see Silverwing like fly off. But I just thought of this, like, one thing I'm super excited to see is like for Elena's funeral, how they say there were so many dragons just flying above. That's, oh my gosh. It's going to look so great.
Yeah.
What do we have, like 13, like, or some...
They said it looked like Driftmark looked like old Valyria.
Yeah. Just like imagine how many dragons we're going to see. It's going to be so cool.
Ooh, I can't wait. I hope they have the fire. The different color fire.
Yeah.
Like how Tessarion has blue fire.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a question in the live chat. Miss Man Jones, also thank you for subscribing, said, what do you guys think would have happened if Lady Misery's child survived the trip to Essos? So for those that don't know, Lady Misery, she's I think Massaria. Somebody correct me. She is Damon's lover at the beginning of the series. So she ends up becoming pregnant, but I believe she miscarries.
Coming back from Essos,
yeah. So, what
are
you
going to Essos? Damon gave
going to Essos.
Dragon's egg.
Yeah, he did. I honestly think we would have. That could have been a plot point for like future stories for like other Targaryen like contenders or pretenders, they'd probably call them, for the future. Like how we have to do it. Like me personally, I think Fagon is a Blackfire, so like that kind of situation where it's like somebody and eventually like trace their ancestry back to claim the throne.
Yeah. I don't think there would have been like the child, there was no way that that child would be a contestant for the throne or anything like that, because Damon's, if any children would have been able to claim the throne, it would have been Rhaenyra. Bela and Rhaena. It would have been them.
I think.
So many names. But guys, we are about to close it out. We've been going for like 2 hours. So this is the time where you guys get to pick who you want us to cover next week. So you get to choose between Sansa. If you want Sansa, you put a lemon. If you want Jaime, put a lion. And if you want Brienne, put the diamond emoji. And that's who we'll cover next week for our Friday night Winds of Winter character breakdown. So any last thoughts on what we know so far about House of the Dragon?
I have one for you guys. What are your like most anticipated moments in the show? If we were to get them. Like, I guess, like, I'd say, like, a scene or, like, something from, like, the books that you're, like... I can go first. I already said it, but, like, when Vhagar and Caraxes battle over the God's Eye, that Damon face off, I cannot wait to see that. I feel like that's going to be some of the, like, the most amazing television we get in a long time. Like, I am so pumped about that.
I want to see Emma Darcy act their ass off as Rhaenyra Targaryen in the same way that Lena Headey ate up her role as Cersei Lannister. I think that is, I know a lot of people were a little disappointed by Emma Darcy because, I don't know, people have unrealistic beauty expectations, you know, but I think they chose Emma Darcy because of how well she can play the role. Emma Darcy has such a neutral like expression, so that tells me that they can go from 0 to 100 and meet the whole spectrum of it. You know, I can't wait to see them as Rhaenyra play this really grieving, sympathetic queen, and then in other moments just completely turn it around to this like seemingly psycho bitch that's just like completely, because Rhaenyra loses her damn mind after a while. Like she's something. At least that's how the history books. I'm excited to see Emma Darcy in action, mostly. So.
For me, it is seeing Rhaenyra tell Kristen Cole to kick rocks. Like, I know it. Like, I know it with my whole fucking being that he proposes. Like, come on, Rhaenyra, let's run away together. Let's go over. I'll be a sellsword on some, like, Jorah Mormont shit. And
I think she laughs in his face.
I'm a fucking queen. I'm a princess.
Guys, Sandor wasn't an option, but I love Sandor. We'll
putting hot dogs
for Sandor.
I was gonna say it's looking like really between
Sansa and
Jaime.
And it looks more so Sansa.
This is one of those times that I'm like, I mean, I missed her all episode, but like Nim, this is Nim's the only one of us that knows how to count.
She said Sandor is not an option this week. Hold your weenies.
No.
So we will, like, if you're watching this on rewatch, we will go back and count who's in the lead. Who's in the lead. So you can follow all of us on Twitter or Instagram. I'm on Twitter at This Gray Area and Instagram at This Gray Area. Alicia?
You can find me on Twitter at Totes Not Alice. You can also find me on Instagram at Hangry Like the Wolf, all one word, and wolf has an E at the end of it. And like Gray said earlier in the episode, we are working on some stuff, some unexplained, unsolved, preposterous stuff. So
get ready for that interesting tea. And Ara, what you got going on?
Yes, so you guys can find me on my new YouTube channel at I Eat Zebra. Covering the Bad Batch right now. I actually, right before we went live. I recorded my episode 3 review, so that should be out sometime between tomorrow and Sunday. So hope to get to you guys sooner than later. I'll be covering other content in the future. We got mostly show reviews. So we got Loki coming up, Rick and Morty, the new season's coming up for that too. Obviously Star Wars and whatever else tickles my fantasy. But so you can check me out
Tickles
there.
my fantasy.
Yeah, my fantasy. Yeah, because whatever I want to do, guys, right?
Put it on a
But,
shirt.
Suggestive.
Put it on a shirt.
But yeah, find me everywhere else at I Eat Zebra because I'm not creative.
So yeah, guys, please check her channel out and subscribe to it. She does amazing work. Also, we got another super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Josh. Another great stream. One love and peace, love and positive vibes everyone's way. You guys have a good night and a good weekend, and we will see you next Friday. Thank you for chilling with us on this Friday night. Bye.
Bye.